climatographs. One is from Tofino, so south coast off Vancouver Island. And the other one is Osoyoos, so just kind of south of us. Tofino and Osoyoos both have the same latitude, so 49 degrees north, so 49 degrees from the equator. And if you look at the red lines here, this is the temperature. The temperatures are pretty similar, but the amount of rainfall is vastly different. So we can ask questions like, why is that rainfall so different? What makes Osoyoos special? Why is there very little rainfall in Osoyoos compared to Tofino? They're at the same latitude. When students make climatographs, or even when they read them, it's really important to remember that the bars, they're blue, and if you think about it, it's kind of like rain filling up like a cylinder or something like that. So as the rain falls, it kind of fills it up. And these blue bars are the rainfall. So if I'm interested in reading the rainfall, you can see on the right side here I have average temperature, and on the left side I have precipitation. So when I read the blue bars, these are the months of the year: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. When I read the blue bars, I'm reading off the left side of my graph. And when I'm reading these red dots, this is the temperature, I'm reading off the right side. So if I asked you the temperature in May, you'd go, okay, May is right here. You go up, and then it wouldn't make sense for it to be 450. That doesn't make any sense. So you're like, okay, well, that's no good. So you go across and you're like, okay, it looks like it's about 7 degrees or so. So climatographs can be, usually students are really, really good at reading them, but when I ask you to make one, sometimes you get the dots mixed up with the bars and the sides. There's no sort of convention that temperature is always on one side and then precipitation is always on the other. So it can get a bit tricky when you're making one of your own, and then choosing the scale on your axis can get tricky as well. But the idea is the same. You're going to have 12 months, you're going to have average precipitation for the 12 months and average temperature for the 12 months, and then you just plot it on a graph. So the two examples here are Tofino and Osoyoos. Why is Osoyoos so dry? Well, it has mountains to kind of shield it. You have the coast mountains and all these things, and the jet stream is a little bit above it in terms of north. So that's why Osoyoos doesn't receive as much rainfall, but the temperature is really similar to Tofino. So there you go. In the learning guide, and I see Taylor's kind of asked this, and I'll leave you guys with this for today. I'll leave you with two things. Finish off your safety unit learning guide, submit it, and I'll get that password sent out to you either today or tomorrow. So once that's done, you can start worrying about what we went through today. I don't insist you guys do this. We'll have lots of time to get through biology. Like I said, we're only going to have like 2 classes between now and next week, so it's not going to be, we're not going to meet a lot at first. Once we get into the course, we'll meet a bit more. But this is in the learning guide, down in the bottom in the practice section. And this is the climate data for Prince Rupert, so northern BC on the coast. It gives you all the months, it gives you the average precipitation for each month, and it gives you the average temperature. And then below it, in the learning guide, there's a blank graph, and basically the idea is you fill out the graph in conjunction with the temperature and the precipitation. So it's making a climatograph, practicing the idea of making one of these climatographs. So if you're bored, you want to do that. If you've done the safety unit and you want to continue on with this biology stuff, you can jump into this climatograph. And next day, at the beginning of class, I'll do one for you. I'll kind of go through the process and I'll draw it to give you kind of an idea of what it's going to look like. It's fairly straightforward. If you look at some of the examples, I'm sure you could probably duplicate it. Just make sure you're using as much of the graph as possible, as I've said before. So that's where we're going to leave for today. Again, safety unit should be done by next class, next Wednesday. You should have your learning guide submitted and your test written before class next week on Wednesday. So If you've done that and you want to stay current with the material, you don't like doing a bunch of work all at once, you want to break it up into small chunks, you could do this climatograph as well. So the notes should be filled out in the learning guide to this climatograph sort of section, and then the practice of the climatograph, and that's kind of where I'll leave you today. It's kind of sort of broken because we don't have a lot of class for the first little bit here, but once we get into the routine of things, it'll be a little bit more obvious of where we should be at. So hopefully I'll see you guys on Friday, and if not, I will see you in class next Wednesday. We don't meet tomorrow, and then we only have the one class next week. So if I don't see you, have a great weekend. Hopefully you get to enjoy some time with your family over the long weekend, family day, and take care. We'll see you next week.